Okay. Says we're live.
Hey.
Hello. Hey, everybody who's already in the chat. But some of you have been waiting since this was announced. Just kidding. You wouldn't let your life pass you by that fast. Well, everybody, welcome to another Senshi Anio's podcast. And for the first and any first timers that are here, I am Lita and I have my wonderful co-host Shay. And we are two mad fangirls that just, love talking random anime crap. Basically, this is what it is. And this is episode 5. And in episode 5 today, this is going to be technically our special for Halloween, where I know we missed it on Halloween, but this is kind of our little Halloween special dedicated to it. And as it says, we're going to be exploring the creepy side of anime, which is diving into, the vampire, the horror genre. Oh, you guys get the drift anyway. And maybe towards the end, we'll answer some questions from you guys as usual, because that's always fun. And I'm going to let Shay say hi to you guys. Say hi, Shay.
Hey. Hi, everybody. I don't know why I'm waving, and then you guys can't see me. Hi.
Oh, seriously? I did. Seriously, I did that. If we were face on webcam, you'd be doing that. I've done that just randomly. When I say hi, I'm waving at the computer, right? The laptop, and I'm like, what am I doing? I think I did that.
I've done it too.
Yeah, I think it was the first podcast we did. I did that. I put up my hand and started waving and realizing no one can see. That don't make sense. Okay, so I thought I'll try and respond to you guys in the chat as much as possible as we go on with the podcast today. And I thought first, I guess we could discuss is actually what genre were from the creepy side of anime that we've actually seen, because there's certain shows that me and Shay have not seen. So if anyone randomly shouts out, oh, have you seen Parasite, for example, and I'll be like, no. So I'm going to get Shay to start off. It's always better if she starts off first, because I tend to talk way too much. And so you can tell us, Shay, what is some of the creepy side of anime that you have seen?
Well, for me, I think some of the creepiest ones I think I've seen is Another is definitely one that I've watched that's been quite creepy. And also the When They Cry series was also quite creepy to me. That was probably one of the creepiest ones. Death Note was kind of creepy too. It had its moments where it could be kind of creepy. At least for me, at least. Those are some of the creepier ones I think I've watched. I know there's more of them because I did a top 10 animes that I suggested for Halloween.
Yes, I did get time to watch that. And your ending choice,
I know.
It was very amusing. If I'm not going to reveal it here, if you guys want to find out what her final choice was in her Halloween video, it's very amusing. You wouldn't think I definitely wouldn't have picked that for that list at all, so it surprised me. You should go watch her Halloween recommendations list if you want to find out. The last one she suggested, it's nothing that you would expect. But no, it was good.
Oh, and also High School of the Dead. And that one's, if you haven't seen it, that one's kind of straight to the point. It's literally high school of zombies. And it's the zombie apocalypse, pretty much. And that is something that anybody who watches The Walking Dead will definitely understand and get. And they'll see why.
I've seen a little bit. I've seen a little bit of The Walking Dead. But I have seen High School of the Dead. That was a long some of these animes have been a long time ago since I've seen them. Yes, Micah's ooh, High School of the Dead. I'm way, as usual, what anyone has said about this show ever, that there's is way too much fan service, particularly boobs. But gotta think what show does not have fan service.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a bit in that show where it got I got confused. It was the main guy and the purple-haired girl, and I don't know. They're in some sort of shrine thing, and I don't know. I got lost with what was actually going on. That still bothers me to this day.
Oh, I think it was like weird because she like revealed her like a weird mental tick that she has. Not mental tick, but it was kind of like she enjoyed being able to beat people up. Like, I think that's the best way for me to describe it, because she's like a kendo master, I think. Like, she's in kendo. Seiko.
She was
Seiko Busujima.
Yes,
that was her name.
Yes, Seiko.
She was one of my she was one of my favorite. She was actually one of my favorite characters in High School of the Dead because she was able to kick so much butt. So she was definitely one of my favorites. But I think that's where it was. I think it was like implied that they like slept together in that shrine. High School of the Dead had a lot of fan service, but it was still a really good show that I actually really, really wished had a second season. And I think it's one of those shows that everyone's been hoping for a second season for, and I think a majority of fans have given up.
It's like an OVA, there's an OVA. I know there's an OVA for it, and some people like the OVA more than the actual series itself. But I know a YouTuber named Anime Palooza. Some guys, you might know her. She absolutely hates that OVA. She hates High School of the Dead OVA. Thought it was trash, and I haven't seen it yet. But if I watched it, I would probably end up agreeing with her. But when it gets to that stage of someone saying that, oh, this is utter trash, it makes me want to watch it, even if it's just that I could get a laugh out of it. It on the opposite end of normally someone saying, oh, this show is such trash, you wouldn't want to watch it. But I'm like one of the opposites. I would want to watch it. I don't know if anyone else is actually like that.
I do the same thing, but for me, it's like more of it's like a challenge.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing. So, but for me, it's more so like, it's not so much if the show is trash, but like if someone says, oh, this show totally made me cry. I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm going to see if this show makes me cry. Or if it's like I think it was like this show called Aquarion. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen this show.
I've watched like 6 episodes of it at the moment.
Right. So it's a weird show, especially when they merge with the ships. For you guys who haven't seen it, it's like a mech show, and it's like 3 ships, and they merge together to make an Aquarion. Think of it like Power Rangers when they morph into making the big Power Ranger thing. It's like that, but whenever they would merge, it's like a weirdly orgasmic reaction. So the voice actors are basically making orgasm sounds, and when I hear the voice actors,
I haven't got to that bit yet.
Really? Oh well, you are in for a treat. Well, when the voice actors would talk about this show at conventions, so people would ask them about it, and they would talk about their experience. And I at this point had never seen this show, and I was just like, I strangely want to watch the show to see how ridiculous this is. And I watched the show. The show wasn't bad, but the noises they had to make were utter hilarious, and it made me want to watch it even more. Yeah. That shows how Shay finds her anime. She looks for stuff that's as ridiculous or scary or as a challenge, and then we'll be like, challenge accepted. I will watch this.
Well, yes. Well, Aquarion. Oh, and that makes me want to put it back on. I'm trying to get through my backlog anime this month, and it's been on the backlog for a while. I'm probably going to make it unbacklog. I liked like Aquarion Evolve, like Lynn is saying in the chat. It's one of my like ultimate favorites. It is hands down.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
because of the ridiculousness of it. That's why people end up liking it. They do, because it's ridiculous with the merging and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yes, High School of the Dead. I mean, I kind of feel that show does get quite a bit of hate. I would say it does get quite a bit of hate. But you know, you need ridiculous things like that. You do.
Yeah.
You need those kind of ridiculous shows.
Yeah, but it was still like a really good show though, just because it did deal with like the zombie apocalypse, and at that time zombies were a pretty big thing. They still are with like The Walking Dead and stuff. But at that time when High School of the Dead came out, it was like everyone was kind of like really wanting to see the show. And then when it ended, everyone was like, okay, where's the second season? And to this day, we still have not yet really been promised the second season. Or when a second season has been promised, it's like never gone through really. Or they're waiting for the manga to catch up, or they're waiting for the manga to have more, because they said the manga's also on hiatus. So it's kind of like they're like waiting for more material kind of a thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, you know, there's loads of shows out there that, you know, people are like waiting for that second season and stuff, you know, like recently got announced. Like Full Metal Panic hasn't had an adaptation for 10 years now. And finally, about 2 weeks ago, they put up a teaser pic of the new TV adaptation based off the light novels that's going to be coming next year, which I'm so excited for. So excited. Yes, Full Metal Panic, Scott. Yes, for the win. Yeah, I still think you get a crack out of that show, Shay. Like particularly the second season. I always recommend that to comedy. Who's never seen anime comedy? It's the number one I recommend. Doesn't really matter even if you've not seen the first season. You can just go right in there and. You don't even have to know what's kind of like going on. It's just ridiculous, utter ridiculousness. So one of the other shows you mentioned was Another. That's another big one. That show, I like that show. It was good. It completely threw me off with what was going to happen. You know, of how all the people have. I won't spoil it too much for anyone that's not seen it, but. Just of how everyone ends up dying, just the situations. I think one of them I laughed at. I won't say which one, but it's to do with some stairs. That was the one that I laughed at.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't mind saying it because it's not a super big deal, because there's a lot of there's a meme that came out about it too. I'm guessing it's the one with the stairs and the umbrella. Because that was the one where a meme came out and it was just like, I will never look at umbrellas the same way again. And then I saw that and I was just like, when I saw that show, I was like, that immediately passed through my brain, because I was like, this is true. Another was a good show, and the reason why I liked it so much was because it was not only really scary and kind of creepy, well, not really scary, but kind of like creepy, was because it was built around, it was so suspenseful, yeah. And it kept you on the edge of your seat.
Series. It's not, but you know, it depends how people would interpret it, if they found it scary or not, but it was more like suspenseful, like a thriller.
I found it along that genre more. And the fact that it was built in around a little urban legend kind of a thing, and kind of what this town believed, that's what made it even creepier and even kind of like a little bit weird too, was because this whole town and this class was literally involved in this one story. But then you also, in a way, also felt bad for the characters in it, like especially when you learned the story and why the classmates did certain things. You kind of felt bad, and you're like, this is really messed up. And then you start to watch it, and then you're kind of in this whole realm of like, well, who's next? And interestingly enough, on my actual video on YouTube, there was a comment that someone wrote regarding Another, and they basically compared it to like the final destination of anime series. And I was just like, I kind of have to agree. Because it is kind of that whole thing of, well, who's next that's going to die and how are they going to die? Because they were dying in very, some of them were mysterious ways, but some of them were also kind of like, they could be legitimate deaths. Like you could see that happening. Like, all right, I get it. The umbrella one though was kind of that one was kind of like, there was definitely some divine intervention on that one. Like that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, definitely. The ending, again, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but the ending, I don't know, still kind of confused me. I don't know, I think still the whole show confused me.
I wish I could explain to you the ending, because I understand why you find it confusing, but then I also get the ending.
What was the girl? What was the girl's name? Misaki. Was it
Misaki? Yes.
Yeah, she was just full of mystery.
She was. But the class did her dirty.
Yeah.
That was the messed up part.
But yeah, if anyone's not seen another, you need a thriller, then definitely that show will give you suspense and thriller. It doesn't make me want to rewatch it though, talking about it.
No. I could rewatch another, but it just wouldn't have the same suspense for me because of the fact I know it's going to happen.
Shows like that, you don't have the same feeling about them when you rewatch them. Then again, like I watched Death Note. I rewatched Death Note last year, and still, even if I knew what was happening, I still loved it. I did. I still got that thrill of excitement, even though I knew like what was going to happen and stuff. It's still such a good show. In this, even now, after 10 years? It's 10 years
been
now,
a while.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long time since that show's been out.
That was the first kind of like guess kind of thriller entering into the creepy side of anime or thriller suspenseful series I'd ever watched. It was my first one. So
that was kind of like too. But
and I know oh, sorry, go on. You don't know who's going to talk first.
Oh, no, go
Maybe
ahead.
we should draw a straw, an invisible straw.
No, you can start. Go ahead.
Go on.
Okay. For me, when I looked at Death Note, I looked at it from more of a, weirdly enough, a political standpoint, strangely, just because if those of you guys who have seen Death Note or even have not seen Death Note, this kid starts off trying to do good or thinking he's doing good by the world by basically finding a notebook and writing in people's names that are corrupt or people who are already in prison, stuff like that. And basically the notebook will let you kill off people by writing their names in. And you can also write in ways of which they can die or they can die of a heart attack, whichever one. And basically the main character, Light, starts off trying to do good and then along the way becomes corrupted because he's trying to find ways to kind of cover his tracks as far as what he's doing. But he's also a very, very smart kid. And for me, he was very smart. Very methodical, very smart. Like he really knew what he was doing and how he was going to do it. And for me, as I watched it, it was very creepy to watch, mostly because of Ryuk, whom is the death god, who had a ploy in doing what he did because he did it because he was bored. And
he cracked me up.
Ryuk was hilarious. He was so funny. But I always think of it from a way of when someone is in politics and they're saying all these promises, how they're going to do good for the people. And then they get into that power and sometimes that power makes them corrupted. And that's exactly what I thought about because it was like he started off doing well, but then he realized he had all this power over people and how he was able to make such of a difference. And he was like, I'm going to be God of the new world. And then he became corrupted. And I was like, that is very strange. And that's exactly how politics work. Like not just in politics, like if you're a president, but just even in the workplace, you know, someone gets a promotion, they're like, I'm gonna do all these things, and if I get promoted, I'm do this, and they get promoted and they don't do it because now they realize the kind of power they hold with people and what they can do with it. And that was kind of like where I went for with when it came to Death Note. But overall, though, it was such a good series just because it did keep me on the edge of the seat of seeing whom he was going to kill off, and when people got in his way, how he was going to do it. And then when he did kill certain people off, how he pulled it off, and how he actually was that methodical in planning it out every step of the way.
I mean, of course, in the end, it didn't, all go to his plan, which you can assume from the start of the series. But
right.
Matt's mentioned something about the new version of Death Note on Netflix version. Have you heard about that, Shay?
I have heard about it, and I know a lot of people at one point were kind of upset. I know about it, especially with the casting of it.
Yep.
And I had to look up more of it as far as concerning the casting, and I think what they most of the directors of it, producers of the show, have talked about was that they're not redoing Death Note. It's like they're taking the Death Note adaptation, the series, and they're adapting it to today's standards, and that's why they've changed some of it. So it's kind of like it's based off of it. It's like when you watch a movie that's based off a true story, and in reality they've fabricated stuff, they've taken stuff out, they've added stuff in, and in reality it's just like the frame of it is the particular story, but the inside of it isn't the same. And I think that's what they basically did with Death Note, and they're just making it more of an Americanized version of Death Note. And I'm excited for it because I want to see what they can do with it, because to me, they can possibly do it justice if they've actually seen the material and what they can and cannot use, or what they feel like they can actually make more like today's century, or not century, but like today's standards and how it would work in today's society. And I think that's why I'm kind of like excited to see it. And I think it might get more people to want to see like the more, like the original adaptation. I mean, you can also say the same thing about Battle Royale when it comes to the Hunger Games. I mean, when the Hunger Games first came out, everyone was like, oh, this is basically just like another version of Battle Royale, just done differently. And in reality, it made people say, I've never seen Battle Royale. Like,
uh-oh. Oh, you still there, Shay?
I'm still there, yeah.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you disappeared on us again.
No, I'm here. No, but that's what I got from it, or what I'm hoping.
Yeah, honestly, it's hard enough to keep up with anything in the anime world. I'm just gonna wait until like it actually airs, and then it's all over Twitter, and then I might be convinced if I'll actually watch it or not. I know some of it's going to be different about it, and sometimes that sort of thing doesn't like really bother me too much, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I like how Ryuga looks in the live action.
Yeah.
He looked like the whole design and stuff looks nearly resembles to the anime one, but I haven't had a chance to look at the casting choices yet. I haven't, so I'll have to give my verdict on that soon. Maybe I'll probably tweet about it. Then I'll say, no, these people won't do. No.
No, I think it'll be okay. I mean, I'm excited to see it and see how it goes. I think, but it's also kind of one of those things that if it is really bad, you want to see it, just see how bad it is. Like Dragon Ball Evolution, we all knew that movie was going to be very terrible, but we all wanted to go see it to see just how terrible it was.
I've not even seen it, and I don't even want to see it. That's at least one movie I can say I don't want to see.
Oh, I saw it because I actually bought it for like $3 because it was like, I forgot where it was. It was a used copy for like $3, and I was like, I'm going to buy this because I want to see how bad it is. And I watched it, and I was like, this is terrible. That was literally what I did.
Did you sit through? Did you sit through the whole thing or
I
no?
sat through the entire thing
Oh, you sat
because
through the entire thing.
people were like telling me like, oh, Piccolo looks like this, and they should have shown someone else for Goku, and you know, the
I
girl
don't like
that
the
played
casting
Chi
for
Chi was
Goku anyway.
okay, and you know, and then there was like
Maybe.
Bulma is weird, and I was like, all right, well, let me check it out and see what it is, and I watched it, and I'm going, oh, this is just done all sorts of wrong. I was like, Piccolo's number one, King Piccolo is tan, and last I checked, Piccolo's green. And little things like that. And I was like, and last night, and Goku doesn't look like that. Okay. And I was like, and
Yeah,
there's,
maybe.
and Bulma has a blue streak in her hair instead of her entire hair being blue. All right. Like it was just a lot of very strange stuff in that entire show that I was just like, you know.
Maybe that's a new video idea for you. Talk about the frustration of the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. There you go.
I feel like that's been like overdone since the movie came out so long ago. But I mean, but I think it's I guess one thing is just like what concepts can they come out with for live actions, you know? Because some live action movies, some animes you can do live action that can be done well. But the ones where you're going to need numerous amounts of CGI or they're very, very high following from fans might be a little bit more difficult to please.
Yeah. Now, I know there's another show that you've seen. I mean, like, technically, it's kind of it is like a thriller, you know, a game of survival. I'd still would think that, you know, is still in the like genre of, I just call it creepy anime, I do. Which is The Future Diary.
Yeah. That one.
Forgot the male character's name.
I think it's I can't remember the name off the top of my head either.
Anyone in the chat can help us. Who was the name of the main character from The Future Diary, the wimpy guy that annoyed me the whole time? Which in the end I kind of feel
Yukihiro. That was his name. They called him Yuki mostly in the show. Amano.
Yes, Amano.
Yes.
It's a fabulous name for a main character, Amano.
Right.
My favorite character from that series was the bomb girl with purple hair. How can I remember? I know with the purple hair, she dealt with dynamite and bombs a lot.
Oh, yes.
Number 9. I think she was number 9. Yes.
I think I remember who you're talking about.
I put her in a blog post last year, and I still can't remember her name. But I loved her. She was like my favorite character. Everyone else didn't, you know, stick around for very long. So obviously it's been some time since I've seen that show, but just the way it ended, I think I have to say that, what's the crazy girl's name?
You know?
So many characters in this begin with Y. Oh, Yuki, Yeah, Yuno's probably the craziest for me character I've come across in an anime in a long time. Oh, it's just, you know, what can I say? She's off the wall, really. You know, oh, darling, I positively want to kill you now. You know, you get that. Yeah, I'm like, oh, God, she's not my girlfriend.
She was very crazy. Strangely enough, though, even though she was crazy, I don't want to say I liked her, but she was an interesting character. Like, she really didn't care. Like, she literally, and it was so weird how flippant her emotions were. She would go from one second loving Yuki and like boldly wanting to like protect him and making sure he was okay. And then as soon as someone was trying to harm him, she would like flip and be like, okay, like when the person was like, well, then kill me now. And she was like, pulls out a gun and goes, all right. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And he's like, hold up, wait a minute. I didn't tell you to do it. Like, let me hear him out first.
You know, I don't know, that people say, you know, it's like she was like high the whole time. If she was like hi the whole time, you know, that's what a person looks like when they're off their face. Every time I think of that, I just think of you. No. Yes, Matthew, she is a yandere. I don't know those anime well yet. Tsundere. I've forgotten the others. I don't really like talk. I don't know. I've never really actually wanted to find out the meaning of some of those anime terms. Because when people say them, I'm just like, what? What does that mean? Because I don't know. Because I'm not bothered to, you know, look it up. I'm an anime fan. I should know what a tsundere and a yandere is. I've been asked, like, what type am I? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, dude? Like, what do you mean, what, like, anime girl type am I? I'm like, I don't know. When he asked me, this was a while ago, this is some guy I used to talk to, I just said, I guess in some ways you could say it was like, you know, in some ways when I get like you know, a bit crazy when it comes to like anime. Say like when we're talking about it, you just get really, really excited, stuff like that.
I just feel like, you know, it'd be a fun character though to like voice, like, honestly, like if someone, or to just play or like act as, like if someone was to like make this like a play or a movie and someone had to like play her as a character, I feel like she would be a fun character to play, since she does have so many different sides. Like, since she has that side of her that's like so loving, and then she has that side of her that's super duper crazy, but then she also has a third side that you don't see till the latter half of the series, where she's just utterly broken, and you're just like, man, that would be a fun character to play, but she'd also probably really, really mess with your psyche. Like, she would, if you played her as a character, you would probably like leave every single session going, I'm either going to need a psychiatrist or something after this is over, because I'm literally finding sides of myself that I probably didn't know I had. And, you know, and I feel like that, but I feel like she'd be fun to play because it would be interesting to play that kind of a character where she does flip emotions so quickly at a drop of a hat, and to the point where it's like, I don't want to say she doesn't have remorse, but she's in that mode where she's just like, okay, I'm going to do what it takes for me to do this. And then that's it. But she just does a drop of a hat, and then she just doesn't care. And she's just for this one purpose, which is to make sure Yuki lasts to the end, not realizing that she's also a part of this game. And one of them is going to have to die, because there can't be two. And I feel like that's what the crazy thing is.
No, sorry, we're not talking about death in this podcast. Don't worry, no.
Yeah, don't worry. Neither one of us plan to die anytime soon. But that I don't know, she'd be a fun character to play. I know that probably says a lot about me and my own psyche, but she would just, I don't know, she'd be a fun character to play just because of that.
Shay wants to be everybody. She wants to be
Like, I don't want to be her, but I mean, like, honestly, if there was to like be some kind of production and they were casting people to play the characters, like, she would probably be the one I would gravitate to the most, just because of the fact that she has so many different sides, and it would be challenging to take on all those different sides of her character and play them believably, and somehow be able to intertwine it with the story. But like I said before, I feel like anyone that would play her as a character would have some sort of screwed up psyche after. Not screwed up psyche, but they would be like, I have to leave this basically sloughing, like getting rid of everything. Or it'd be fun to play her because if you're upset that day and you have to go in there and play this crazy character, you're able to get all of your emotions out in a way that's productive.
Well, I think if they were going to cast for you could play her. You know, we all know how you are in your video, Shay. Very, very sweet and innocent. I think you could pull that side off of very, very well.
Oh, well, thank you. That means there's two other sides of me that half of these people have never seen.
Oh no!
Not saying I have those sides, but I feel like I feel like everyone though has those sides, but everyone just doesn't see them. Everyone has that side that they show the outside world. It's like a quote that everyone says. There's a face that you show the outside world. There's a face that you show just your family, and there's a face that you show just yourself when you're alone. And I feel like just has all those different sides, but they're just out for the entire world to see. And I feel like that's everybody. We all have those different sides of ourselves that we show certain people. When you're at work or if you're out in public, you got to show that side that's like either really professional or polite or, like you got some kind of common sense. But then when you're with your family and people you trust, you might act a little bit crazier because they're seeing you. But then when you're by yourself, like in your room, that's really when you're yourself because it's just you.
Yeah, that was me last night when I was watching Junjo Romantica. So if anyone would have seen that on Twitter. And usually I'm not that crazy around my family. I pull myself back quite a bit. And then at work, I'd still say I'm a bit, fairly crazy. But most of the time everyone just sees my real crazy side, here on YouTube. So everyone knows I'm crazy anyway. Otherwise nobody would probably even be here right now if they didn't think we were interesting.
Right. I guess I'm somewhat interesting.
Yes, you're the very informative one out of us. Yeah, yes, you are. You say all the right things, and I can't make two words make sense half the time because I get confused with actually what I want to say, and then I confuse people. So, thank you, Micah. And thank you, Micah, the neighborhood otaku. I'm pretty crazy in a good way. That's mostly what mostly everyone says about me in real life and here. So.
Well, that's true. It's if there's crazy in a bad way, and there's crazy in a good way.
Like, yeah. No, everyone's saying you'll be funny to see Lita serious. I don't think anyone's ever seen me really serious, except Shay. Actually, no, Shay's seen me.
I have,
but that's off air. That's off air. Are there any like creepy, like I'll stop saying creepy anime because there's so many different genres. Yeah. I don't want to say horror because saying one thing that does kind of annoy me when it comes to people talking about like the vampire or the thriller genres along those lines is when horror is brought up, like horror anime. Like if anyone asks me, hey, what's a horror anime? I'm like, honestly, I can't really give you one.
Yeah.
I answered this for somebody a while ago, ages and ages ago, and I said another. But when I thought about my answer, more of it was along the lines of it being more of, a thriller.
Yeah.
And, really. And, when it comes to saying like horror anime, I really can't think of an epically scary one. Everyone's always going on about like Higurashi, like when they cry. Obviously, yes.
Oh,
there is a lot of. I don't even need to know that it's it's obviously bloodthirsty gore.
It is total gore. Like it's a good show.
Crazy people.
But I was watching that show going crazy. Like it's a good show. Definitely watch it. Like if you haven't seen but to be warned, if you're someone who's not for blood and gore, don't watch this show. Just as a fair warning before you watch this, it does have a lot of blood and gore in it. But if you're someone that you don't really mind about those things, you might actually like it because the story itself is kind of interesting. It's just the timelines of the show can be kind of confusing of that show if you haven't seen it. because it's like I said before, it's like the time frame is like it keeps going back to the same exact festival, but how the story goes changes each time. So you're like, wait, this is strange, this is different, but that's literally how it is. But
yeah, when people say it's a horror, even though I've not seen it, I still, even if I've not seen it, I probably couldn't even, consider it a horror. It's just a, I would say, dark, crazy series.
yeah,
to me, and it just has a lot of blood. That's what you could really
probably the better term to use too. The better term to use is a dark anime, like something that's dark. Because there is definitely the horror genre in and of itself. Have I seen any horror anime? Probably not. I'm not going to say I have.
Agreed.
But I feel like the only horror anime that I know most people talk about a lot is Shiki. And I have not seen that show. While it has intrigued me, I have not yet have the guts to watch it. The same goes for Hell Girl. I've heard that, but I don't know if that's considered a horror or not.
But that's mixed around a bunch of different scenarios that happen, and I've heard it's pretty dark.
Yeah, so
it's been on my list for a while.
But I feel like dark encompasses to me dark encompasses any anime that doesn't deal with anything that's fluffy, girly, lighthearted. Like there's some sort of ultimate goal that's there, and there's just a lot of bad stuff that happens, like with another, or there's a lot of killing, or there's a murder, or there's a mystery, or there's some sort of dark entity or darkness involved in that show that's evil or bad in that series. And I feel like that's just any anime, horror, thriller, mystery. Like you could put Death Note under dark, you could put another under dark, when they cry when they dark, Elfen Lied under when they cry, under dark. I mean, I feel like that's for me the basic definition of something that's considered dark.
Someone said, Elfen Lied. I read a review
I've seen that
recently. Yes.
That's
not. It's a great classic. It obviously it's got gore, but like
it does.
Obviously a lot of blood, and someone classed it as like a horror. It's not really a horror. It's more like, yes, it is dark. There's blood flying everywhere, but it's about genetics, genetically, the body being manipulated, and there's a science, there's a science side to all of it as well. So it's like a mix of that. And someone's just mentioned a series I've not seen yet, the Madoka Magica series, that it is not your fluffy,
it's not
like it's not your fluffy magical girl show. There's a very psychological side to it. So, but I've not really come across like a horror series that will scare the crap out of you. Like,
that I haven't came across either. I've only came across the more darker series, like for example Elfen Lied. That show didn't scare me at all. It was once again a lot of gore. So like when I first came across Elfen Lied and like heard about it, a lot of people were like, if you can get through the first 5 or 10 minutes of the first episode, you can get through the entire series. And I was just like, okay, challenge accepted. Let me go see what this show's about. And sure enough, I'm watching it. And if you haven't seen it, the very first episode is nothing but the main character going through a facility, killing people while she's naked. So if you can get through that, you can get through the entire series. Literally, you can get through the rest of the series. Because that's literally the first episode. That's the very first episode.
Yeah, that's the whole of Elfen Lied in a nutshell for you.
There you go.
Lucy is this nearly mindless killer. But I ended up, liking Lucy. I
did like Lucy,
I felt when you feel this little sense of emotional, maybe not for some others, but this emotional attachment. You just felt sorry for her, what's happened to her and everything.
I felt for her once it got to the part where they did a flashback when she was a kid. That's when I felt for Lucy.
Yes, and Scott from Mechanical Anime Reviews has asked us a very on topic question is, what is your definition of horror?
I say something that's going to scare me. Like, to me, something that will make me at night, I have to have all of my lights on to sleep because I'm so scared of something, or something that can be definitely like, I don't know. I think that's for me is my definition of horror. You know, something that's going to scare me.
You know, when I remember the last horror movie I watched, not like just an ordinary horror movie, and that had, you know, everything that was enough to scare you and stuff. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Let Me In. Oh, don't think about it right now. Don't try not to think about it. But it just had, that suspense, and I never knew what was gonna happen, right around the corner. And I guess like horror for me, it's just got to have like a lot of dark twists. And it'd be nice to, when I think of horror, I think of like, ghouls, like really ghoulish kind of creatures. Not talking about like along the lines of like Tokyo Ghoul, but I don't know. I'm waiting for like I'm waiting for a new anime one day. Don't know, it will happen one day, but it will be an anime that just, scares the crap out of you. And when I just think of a horror anime, I just think, it's got to scare you. It's got dark twists in it, and I like it to have some sort of like ghoul element, like monsters and stuff. That's what makes me think of a, not seeing like a real, I think along the lines of ghouls, the best one I would say, for example, is Hellsing Ultimate, like all these ghoul zombie things. I mean, that show scared me. As I watched that, I did watch that show on like a stormy night, and even Alucard himself scared me as well. So even so, that is still a series that I definitely could rewatch. I would rather watch a dark anime over an ordinary horror movie, because I can't take horror movies these days. I honestly can't. I used to be able to, like when I was younger, I didn't care. But now I'm like, no, I'd rather watch a dark anime. I'd rather.
I think for me, the closest I would say for me is a horror anime. The closest for me would probably be Another, just because for me, any anime or show, if for instance, where it's something mildly realistic that could actually maybe happen, that scares the crap out of me. Like, for example, when the Paranormal Activity movies came out, they scared the living crap out of me. And it would be something that, for me, my mind would do, if it's about, midnight, or if I'm at home by myself and it could be 3:00 in the afternoon, my brain goes, hey, remember that movie, Paranormal Activity? Yeah, let's think about that. I'm just like, really, brain, for real? While I'm home by myself, I'm going to think of this movie? So that's what I think. Like, Another probably is for me the most, what I would say is probably the closest I've gotten to the horror genre, because it was so scary or creepy, because I'm like, dang, like this is something that could be like legit. Like this could for real happen. Like people could, like, once again, it's like a Final Destination, but in anime form. Final Destination did kind of scare the crap out of me. But as far as like watching horror films over dark anime, I'd probably, once again, I agree with you, Lita, I'd probably more so watch a dark anime over a horror movie. While I have watched a few horror movies in my lifetime, I've never been one for them. Even as a kid, they would scare me. And I would only watch them if I was with other people, because my logic is, if something happens, I'm with other people, so they might get them first before they get me. So it gives me a chance to run. That was my logic, and it still is my logic whenever I go watch a horror movie with other people. But I'm always the one that, where if there's a horror movie that comes on TV, like I'll say based on true events, I'll look up via Google the actual story that's usually much scarier than the actual movie, and then scare the crap out of myself from reading something.
Yeah, nah, you know, in my life now at my age, which, you know, is only same age as you, Shay, you know, you want to watch some happy things, but not saying that I don't like watching some, you know, dark things. But yeah, I think we're both the same. We like rather watch dark anime over horror movies. I used to watch too many horror movies with my ex, and that drew the line for me. I was like, nah, done with this. No more. No more real life horror movies. No. I don't know. I don't want to think about now in my life. You know, I have a different. Obviously, when you get older, you build up a different mindset about things. You know, it's just, you know, change. So, but someone did mention Jiro the Hero mentioned Paranoid Agent. That has been recommended to me countless times. And I know that it looks like it does. I'm going to admit, I watched a mini trailer for it not too long ago because it got recommended to me again by somebody, and you know, it does look very suspenseful and scary. So you know, whenever I can get around to it, I certainly will. But my favorite genre when it comes to dark anime is actually vampire series.
Wow.
Actually. I'm comfortable watching however dark a vampire series is. Don't care. I just love it. I think the very first vampire series I ever watched, shamefully to say, of course, was Vampire Night. But I know how some people feel about Vampire Night.
Yep.
But you know, it wasn't a terrible. It's not the worst series I've ever seen.
No,
but,
it definitely wasn't.
But it's still. I remember how popular it grew when it first came out. My God, it exploded. It did, and obviously, I hear the manga's better than the anime. But at the same time, it's nostalgia for me. That is a nostalgia ground for me. It is the first of any anime that I watched, but ever since then, my taste grew differently, and then I think the only two other vampire series that I actually consider, I like the old tradition. I like it when an anime sticks to the old traditional vampire, like back in the 1700s, you know, Dracula. I believe Helsing sticks to that theme, and then I never thought I'd find another one. Not until I watched Shiki. Very much sticks to that line as well. Shiki, I was not expecting to actually just, you know, stop me in my tracks. I paused through so many episodes because I'm like, I don't want to know what happens. Like that is seriously. If anyone's seen Shiki, I recommend you. I think you'd enjoy it. Definitely, Shay. It's loads of people I know have really enjoyed it. There's this one scene where the guy is laying in bed and he's waiting. He knows she's coming. She's got pink, bright hair. And there's this weird image. You can even Google it. And she's like waiting near the window. Oh, that scene. I still think about it now. And the music. It was the music that made the atmosphere just feel, you know, so creepy. It was really, really thrilling. And it's about a village where there's all these mysterious deaths. Haha, go figure. And it's the lead up to discovering. It's the lead up to discovering towards the end of, you know, where all these people gone and stuff. And it's not what I expected from a vampire series, but it's one I've always recommended to people if they want something that will make them jump out of their skin a little bit. You know, obviously there's a bit of mystery involved in there as well. So, yeah. And obviously there's, you know, death in it. So, but yeah, there's Yeah, I feel like the vampire genre when it comes to dark anime is a little these days is like a little underappreciated. I
Yeah,
feel.
I think
Um,
that's true.
like there's a new vampire series just airing in the fall season. I know right now. I think it's anyone can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I think it's Drifters. Um, I was kind of excited. I'm like, yay, new vampire series. But, you know, and then people, I don't know, it's been kind of like up and down with that series. Like people said, oh yeah, this episode was really, really good, and they say, oh no, this is not what I wanted to happen. And I don't know. Ever since I watched Shiki, I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of a bit like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm a bit skeptical and wanted to try and check out another vampire series. I'm not sure. You kind of get a bit like that when you've watched a really, really good show, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't really want to move on to something else or something new, because you never know what's going to be. You never know how it's going to turn out. So
I think for me, when you brought up Paranoia Agent, a lot of people have suggested that anime to you. The next anime that I actually thought up of that is actually kind of like for me, I always think of like I like the suspenseful ones, the thrillers, the ones that keep me on the edge of my seat. Not the ones that are super duper gory, but just the ones that have a wonderful storyline. And sometimes the ones that are
yeah,
kind of like scientific, maybe futuristic, anything that I can see kind of happening, like a for real thing. Like I could see this legit happening at some point during my lifetime. So it made me think of Psychopaths because Psychopaths was a great, at least for me, I really liked it because it did keep me on the edge of my seat of wondering what would really happen. And just the entire concept of it was based of very much like the what was that movie? I want to say it's either Minority Report or Born Identity. One of those movies where it was like they kind of had the exact same concept where um, they were getting people for crimes that they had yet to actually commit. And I feel like that was a lot of the times what Psychopaths was. It was like mostly people whom were most likely to commit a crime and then their levels like of being clear or however I can't remember how to phrase it at this point in time, but I liked that show because it was something that I was like, this could legit really happen. Like there could really come up with some sort of technology to figure out which people based off of genetics are more or least likely to commit a crime and get them as soon or before they even commit one. And then what's the process after that? Or having people along the police force that are considered dogs, whom are the ones most likely to commit a crime, but yet they're working to help to get the people who are committing crimes. So that made me think of that show because that show I won't consider it horror, but I mean it is definitely more so a part of the darker genre. And it was definitely something that kept me very interested when I first watched it. And then
yeah,
also
I
there's
have.
Tokyo Ghoul too. I just thought
Oh,
of that.
Tokyo Ghoul. I don't know. I sound like I sound so fed up, which I actually am. I don't know. I haven't seen the show. I have no strong desire to watch the show. Like it's
I
not
mean,
on
it
my
definitely wasn't my favorite.
high priority list. It is a show that is way too overhyped. I'm gonna say that right now.
Well, if for
Like,
me,
yeah.
for me, it definitely wasn't my favorite. I mean, I've done a review on Tokyo Ghoul before and my thoughts on it. And one of
Oh,
the
I'll
thing
watch
that
it then. I'll watch your review then on it.
my main thing was just like one of the things I had said before in my review was that I didn't like the main character. I mean, I liked him once he like grew a pair of balls and kind of like manned up. But at the beginning, he was very, very whiny, and I didn't like him. I was like, oh my God, yes, I get it. I understand. But you crying about it is really irking my nerves right now. Like, come on, you gotta buck up. Come on now,
Yeah,
get some action. And then once
you
he
gotta
did, I
you
loved
gotta
him.
buck up.
I was like, but
You,
then I
you
loved it once he kind of like grew a pair
yeah.
and he was just like, doing whatever he needs to be done, like for his like own survival and concerning that this different world that he's in. And then some people were like, yeah, but how would you feel if it was like you in that situation? I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand. If it was me thrown in that situation, I'm just trying to I'm now thrown into a world that I had no idea, like, that I have no idea of how to actually maneuver around in, that has so much prejudice against it. I get it. But for me, he stayed in that realm of state of mind for a really long time.
Yeah, I heard the second season is no better. Tokyo Ghoul Route A, I think it is. Yeah, I think the hype for the second season, woohoo! And then it ended up, after it finished airing, it just went flat. Like, the hype for it, people weren't all that thrilled with the second season. I mean, I will eventually watch the first season, give the show a chance, but it's not on my, high priority list. But it is such an overhyped show.
Yeah, but I think that's why I'm so afraid of Attack on Titan's second season.
I'm not.
Like, Attack on Titan was a great show. Like, I loved the very first season of Attack on Titan. And while I've followed the manga, so I, kind of know what's going to happen. But it's kind of like when you get those second seasons and they come out and they're like, and you're like, all right. And then the writing's not what you thought it was. You're kind of like, oh, God. Okay.
I know, I don't worry about the writing. There's so many things. I've just refused to read the Attack on Titan manga. I'd rather not know. One of the things I really love about Attack on Titan is the animation style. Really love that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I love this. Of course, I love the story, and I still want to know, how, where the Titans came from, that sort of thing. I want to know what's in this basement, his father's basement, Aaron's father's basement. What does that key? The key holds everything. I just want to. Yeah, I just want to know those things mainly. I do. But, I'm kind of optimistic for the second season. I think either way, I'm going to enjoy it regardless.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for it.
So, yeah, so you never know. I mean, I forget who's the studio that does it. I think it's Wit Studio, I think, that is behind Attack on Titan. Mm-hmm. Anyone in the chat can correct me wrong, but, yeah, I think it's definitely Wit Studio. But, I think they've handled that series, really well. It took me forever to get around to watching Attack on Titan.
It took me a minute, yeah.
It took me forever. So many people on my ass about it, and finally, yay! I think I've got somewhere on my channel first impressions I have, and I think it's like 15 minutes long. I think that's like the longest first impressions I've ever done for a series. I had so much to say and only watched the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, for me, it took me a minute to watch Attack on Titan. But then once I watched it, I liked it. But then I also got confused when I watched it.
Where did you get confused?
Well, I think most people kind of understand why I got confused. Because when I watched it, it was so hyped up. And all I heard was about particular characters were Levi. That was the one character I always heard about. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to watch this show. And then I'd watch it. And then Eren is the main character, Mikasa and Armin. And I'm like, who the F is Levi? And when does he show up? And he showed up midway through the series. And I'm going, that's Levi. He shows up halfway through the series. And he doesn't say, he says some stuff, but not like a whole lot to be like a huge impactful character. So I'm going,
says, yeah, he says bugger. Yeah. He says bugger
about
all.
A handful of words. Yeah, it's about a handful of words. And then I get like his cleanliness. He has a couple ones where he's like cracking a couple of jokes to like make it not as like a tense of a moment. And then I'm watching it and I'm just like, so why was he so hyped up and paired with Eren? And I'm just like, I'm not getting.
I think
this.
That's the yaoi factor there. I think you don't want to know. You don't want to know how many fan fictions there are of Eren and
Oh, there's a
Levi
lot.
on.
There's a lot, but
I don't know.
honestly, I mean, I'm more of a fan of Aaron and Mikasa being together. I mean, that's just me. But we'll get on that subject of shipping and pairings later.
Yes, we will. That's for another podcast episode. Shippings and pairings. All the girls will come for that one, not the guys. They might stay a million miles away because it'll be the girl invasion. But I get I get what you mean about Levi. You know, how is he husbando material? Yeah, I'm not attracted to his character whatsoever. He's just a boring box to me, full of boring stuff. And that his same face expression. I'm just like, I want him to be my boyfriend, not with that frown face all the time. I feel like, what have I done wrong now? You know? Yes, when he cleans. Like, there's this one figure I remember a few girls went crazy over for, where he's in his like cleaning uniform. And I'm just like, what is with this figure that they love so much about? He's all in this cleaning gear. And then we finally get to the episode of like why everyone loves him in his cleaning gear. I look at it, finish the episode and I'm like, seriously? What is this hype all about? I do not understand. It's not attractive. No. If Levi was going to bring me breakfast in bed with that gear on, I'd probably just say, hey, can you just get naked already? I don't want to see that on you. It's not attractive. I'd rather be naked than wear that cleaning gear. That's just my factor. Not that say I don't particularly like Levi's character that much. I don't know. Sometimes you can't even me and Shay girls, we cannot understand the real crazy ones of why they like these particular characters. Like, nah. Yeah,
that's still something to say when
people
see some of the characters that I like and they're just confused. Like, I don't get why you like this character, but okay.
Yeah, Lynn's like, none of these Attack on Titan guys are attractive. I agree. None of them are.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Not husbando material. Not that I talk about husbando anything much ever, but they are definitely not husbando material. So, oopsie, I said, hey, I didn't mean to say, can you get naked already, Levi? There, we're just talking, hypothetically. I was, trying to be funny. So that's what I was just honestly thinking in my head. You guys know what comes, whatever I'm thinking in my head, it just randomly comes out. Oh no, we're not dissing your husbandos, Crimson, Lizette. I promise we aren't. I know how much you like Aaron and Levi. That's for another episode though.
Yep.
Ugh. Have you watched any ghostly based animes, Shay?
I off the top of my head, ghostly ones, no. I mean the only one I can think of is Another, just because it's based off of an urban legend or based off of a story.
Yeah.
But beyond that, no. Unless they were like funny ones that had a ghost in it, but nothing that was like
funny,
scary.
Well, funny one. A lot of people recommend Ghost. What is it?
Ghost Hunt?
No, not Ghost Hunt. Ghost Stories, I think.
Yeah, I think I heard that one,
It's supposed to be a funny set of like stories and stuff. I haven't seen it, but I mean, you might. I mean, I'm always recommending all the time Ghost Hunt if people want to watch something on the along the lines of the supernatural. I mean, I've always said to them, the first half of the series, it takes a while for it to start getting decently good, and then the second half, it does a total flip around, and as the cases go along, the series gets more say it gets more creepier. Definitely this series, in my opinion, has the suspenseful factor. The music is just on the dot, is on point the whole time. I wrote about this in my review, and but yeah, definitely there's one particular case in Ghost Hunt that I don't know, sometimes I can't even I might purposely skip it if I can't watch it. It's called The Blood Labyrinth, and there's just this one scene that still gets me even now. I always make sure to have my bedside lamp on if I watch it or not. But I think you would enjoy it, Shay. It's good in terms of the supernatural and of like shikigamis and witchy boards, that sort of thing. Like supernatural practices that people do. But yeah, I think it's got a bit of a funny factor as well between the main characters as well. So, on the odd occasion, the series made me laugh as well with the interactions between the characters. But yeah, I mean, overall, it is quite, it is a decent series. And, there's still some things like I don't like about it. Like, obviously, the first half of the show is can be a bit slow. But, at the same time, it's got that suspenseful factor. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorites. But yeah, I would recommend that one to you, Shay. I would. I think you'd enjoy it.
It sounds like I would.
Yeah, and then you could review it.
That is true.
Or you could give your thoughts on it. I honestly have only watched a couple of ghostly kind of shows. The next one to that was, I think, Dusk Maiden of Amnesia. That was kind of, I want to say it was more based on like a real life kind of it's got a bit of real life experience in it. Like you find out what happens to the girl. What happens to the girl of when she goes into a ghost kind of spirit form, and there's this boy is the only one that can see her. I mean, but it was a really, really interesting show. Love the original soundtrack. So good. Definitely has the ghostly suspenseful factor as well. But yeah, it was a cute series. I know it's one of Blade's favorites. It's definitely one of my favorite kind of ghostly anime as well. I think you enjoy that as well.
There's a lot of animes that
I know
need to watch, but I have like a huge list that I still need to see. I know one on my list that I can't wait finishes airing, which I'm not for sure what episode they're on right now, so I'm just waiting. And that's the 4th season of Utano Prince Sama. It's the 4th season.
Oh my god, we're moving on to happy idol things now.
Yeah, it's the 4th season that's currently airing, and I'm excited because I saw the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Yes, and I wish I was Haruka, because
you were sure Haruka. I want my Ichino-san. Oh no, we should leave the husbando waifu talk for another.
I know. I'm sorry,
but no, it's okay. It's our podcast.
I couldn't help it.
We can bring up what the hell we want. Nobody else cares. Do you guys? True. You don't care. We've talked. I think we nearly talked enough of doom and gloom a little bit for like an hour. Yeah, I've got like the last 3 episodes of Uta Prince to watch, and then I've got to watch the 4th season. Oh, Ichino-san, I'm going to say right now, he is like one of my male favorites ever. Even though the guy hardly has any personality. Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
I don't know which ones. They're all lovely in their own way.
Oh.
So
yes,
Haruka is definitely one lucky girl. Haruka. I mean, because there's very few like shows where like you watch and it's like a harem show where there's always it's always the one guy, multiple girls. So when you finally watch one where it's like one girl but like multiple guys, you're like, dang, if that was my life. that this would
I
be
know,
kind
like,
of amazing. But it's
yeah,
not my life.
I know. I know someone that knows exactly how you feel and would want that. Would again, I'm mentioning Anime Palooza, Gigi. She's mentioned that a few times in some of the videos, to be in a harem with a bunch of boys. So, Jiro the Hero's like, it will turn to the reverse otaku variety show stream again. Oh my god. I don't know if you know, Shay, but I had a stream not too long ago. It was with a couple of other people, and Jiro the Hero gave us a name. It went like 4 hours, and he gave us the name Reverse Otaku Variety Show.
Mm-hmm.
And just talked about so many random things, and he just mentioned it again now, and he thinks that it's going to turn into that again. I said, no, that's maybe there'll be a part 2. I don't know. I would have to talk to the others. I would have to. But you guys, Lynn's like, oh my god, yes, Lynn, you watched the whole thing and then you rewatched it again when you told me. I'm like, oh my god. I don't even remember what we talked about. All I remember is we were advertising body pillows. That's all I remember. Oh god. And one of the people that was in that stream is here already in the chat, which is Blade. Yes, Reverse Otaku Variety Show. Blade. I think people might want a second go on that one, maybe.
Just for you.
But anyway, moving off of that. You guys, I guess we've moved into the segment now of you guys can ask us questions, and this is the part where we talk about random crap.
Yeah,
I think we should just do this every stream. I won't say stream. I mean, every podcast. I wish I could edit that bit out now. Where we should just talk about, at the end, when we get to the end of our topic, we just talk about, the random crap.
I agree.
So, yes, I think that's been an ongoing thing in the last couple of episodes. So I think we'll just keep it going, I guess. You guys can ask us whatever you want, obviously within personal reasons. But but like, what is latest in the new anime world? Oh my god, there is so many announcements recently. I feel like my head is going to explode. Like with, there's a new Cardcaptor Sakura anime adaptation that's going to happen.
Yep.
It's like nostalgia. Sorry, that's for me. Did you ever watch Cardcaptor Sakura, Shay? I can't remember.
I did. I've seen the English dub and I've seen the original, like, subtitled one.
I haven't seen the original subtitle yet.
The subtitle one is so different from the English dub. Number one, the names are, like, changed for majority of the characters. So,
really?
Yeah, so you know how I know definitely in the English dub, Tomoyo, which is Sakura's friend, the one that always dresses her up in this crazy costumes, who has a video camera, her name in the English dub is like Madison, like some super American name. And I think that's
but I like that. It suited her when I watched the English dub. I remember.
Right.
Madison.
I mean, it's true. It does. It's true. But then I watched the subtitle when I was like, okay, so I kind of like that one better. But the subtitle one also had a lot more yaoi references in it that were cut out of the English dub.
Yaoi references.
Yaoi references were definitely more so. Well, they were like hinted at more so in the subtitled in the Japanese one.
What references could possibly be involved in such a kiddie show? Oh my god! Yeah, please give us an example.
So, like, for the fact that Shaoran it seemed he had a crush on Yuki, whom was Sakura's brother's best friend, and it also seemed like there was something going on between Sakura's brother and his best friend at the time. And it was heavily hinted at that there was something else going on. And I was like, as I watched the subtitle, the original Japanese, I was like, okay, I can see why this was hinted at. And of course, in the English dub, that was more so taken out. Which for that time frame when it was released, I get it. Plus, the show is supposed to be a kids show, and it's airing on TV. So, of course, when anything's airing on TV, they're going to take stuff out that they feel should not be on TV in the morning hours. But so I've seen both. I definitely watched more of the original Japanese than I did of the English dub, just because as a kid, the English dub of Cardcaptor Sakura never actually appealed to me. But then when I was like, oh, I want to rewatch this, and I rewatched it in Japanese, I was like, oh, this show is actually pretty cool. Granted, it's like the same concept every episode, but I mean, so it's like very, very like Sailor Moon-esque, if you want to have that. But it's a cute show. It's cute seeing Sakura and Shoudon, start their little love interest. It's adorable because they're all of 8 years old. So you're like, dude, you're 8.
Yeah, like I know the original. Yeah, the original subtitle version has that more, shower on and Sakura time that I crave for desperately. Obviously, the English dub never gave me that, but I have been wanting to have that collection for like a while now. I have. So, but yeah, nobody knows actually with this new anime adaptation, what it's going to be. They don't know if it's going to continue from if they go into high school, or I have no one has any clue, or even if it's going to be based off the manga. Don't know. Oh my god, if it was high school, or they go, I believe is it in middle? I think it was in grade. No, they're in grade school.
They were in grade school at the time.
Yeah, if they go to middle school, if they go from middle school to high school, oh my god, I think I'm going to die. I'm like, oh, I just, nostalgia again. Need I say more about that series?
Right. But I would actually love it if they did it and like had it for like high school.
Yes, and trying to think off the top of my head what else was announced. I mean, I told you before we started the live stream that actually It's the Rhino Kiss is getting a third live action movie. Hear that, yep. Lynn? Third live action movie. You probably already knew about that, but not even seen that. Again, we said I've not even seen the rest of the live action movies. I've only seen like the dramas. That's about it.
Me neither. I've only actually seen the anime itself, and I loved it. The anime is still one of my favorite ones.
Yes. I could say a million things about that anime right now, but I won't. I'll avoid that milestone. Exciting thing, that I found out the other day. I'm sure you've heard, like everyone else, of the new Makoto Shinka movie, Kimi no Nawa, Your Name. I'm sure you have, Shay.
Yes.
I think it's coming to cinemas near you in America, I believe. I think.
Oh. Well, that's interesting.
I believe it. Yeah, and it only got announced, I think, sometime over the weekend that it's coming to Australia. So it's coming to my local cinema, which I'm so excited for. I love Makoto Shinka's work. Like, love it. Huge fan. I think the last movie I saw of his was the Children Who Chase Lost Voices. Yes, I think it was that. And so it's finally coming here at the end of November. So see on my own, because I know no one's going to want to watch it in English subtitles. So, you have to do things alone, people, sometimes. I don't mind watching it. It don't really bother me, because I've seen a movie on my own before. So
it's really, have too.
Yeah, it's really nothing like, later. It can't, like, you're gonna go see one on your own. I'm like, like, oh, it's really
Yeah,
not
it's
that
not
bad.
bad to see a movie by yourself. I mean, some people think it's like,
I know, I don't know why people think that, I don't know, people have, you know, I had comments in the past saying that it's really sad that, oh, that's really pathetic. That is, you would go see a movie on your own. I said, well, you know, some people, friends, or they don't know people that like anime, you never know what reason. I mean, like, I saw Thor along quite a while ago. This is years ago. I can't remember when the movie came out, but Thor, the movie Thor 2, like, I love Thor Marvel. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And I wanted to see the Dark World one. Had no one to see it with, so I went on my own. I did. And yeah, you should have no shame in watching movies on your own. Some people do. Some people have shame admitting, oh no, I'll watch this on my own. And you know, sometimes you can never, you always miss out on stuff, and you think, you know, sod it, I'm going. I will go. So that's just what I think, though. You don't have to follow my advice. There's nothing wrong with seeing movies with friends and stuff. Just, you know, in particular situations, you know, I've nearly always missed out on stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to miss out on Kimi na wa since it's coming here. Originally, it wasn't even going to come to Australia in the cinemas.
Oh, wow.
And I found out, I'm like, I've already bought my ticket already, so, you know. So everyone in the chat's got all different opinions. Crimson's like, I don't want to watch movies by myself. I like being independent. Lynn's like, I eat alone at a restaurant on my own. So do I. I eat ramen on my own. I know no one I know likes ramen, so, but I don't have any ramen places near me, so I always go to the city to eat it. But but yeah, anyone else? I don't know if any of you guys, if you've seen Kimi na wa, Your Name, let us know if you've seen it and what are your thoughts on it. Because I asked someone their thoughts the other day and they couldn't really give me an answer because they were kind of left with too many feels. And I said, oh, okay, it must have been good. So yeah, it was good, but it's kind of hard to put into words. And I said, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
An answer after that. They're just like, you just got to see it for yourself. You just got to see it for yourself. So, okay, that's cool. So we'll have discussion after when I've finally seen it. But I believe we had some questions I noticed. First one is from Matt. What's your favorite monsters in an anime? Vampires, ghouls, aliens? I'll let you answer this first, Shay.
I like, let me see. I guess vampires is probably the most logical answer I could think of, because that's the only one that I've came across in most shows was vampires, because of Vampire Night, which is sad.
It's okay.
That's like, it's not like the Vampire's Night is not exactly scary, but you know, it's still vampire.
I was talking about that before. Nostalgia ground for me. The first kind of dark, like, vampire series I watched. So yeah, for me, it is vampires. It is. Love them. Like, I've read so many history books on old traditional, you know, being from England. Oh, England. You know, I love all the old English history, and you know, there was a time I couldn't put down. I spent, you know, way too much time in the library, and most of the ones I read were mostly, you know, like vampire stories and just reading about vampire history. I just love the old classic vampire. And yeah, there was a time I was completely obsessed with that. Like, not to the point where I would dress up and run around the house as a vampire. No. No. I didn't do that on Halloween. No, I did do that on Halloween. But, you know, I was really interested in that, you know, historical side. And I still am, even, like, you know, even to this day. So, but I think when I watched my very first vampire show, it kind of just, I don't know, it kind of rekindled that love for it, because I just forgotten about it for years. I did. I think I just lost interest in it, and then my reinterest was, you know, kind of brought back when I, you know, watched my first vampire show. So and I, dare to say there's more worse shows out there than Vampire Night. Okay, just saying.
That is true. There are a lot worse shows than Vampire Night.
Yeah,
I have seen
there's a lot worse. Yes, like Boku no Pico. There you go.
God.
I said it. Said it. Everyone says that show. Or yeah, we won't go onto that train.
Oh God! Those of you guys who haven't seen it, don't see it. It will scar you for life. Or not. I mean, you might enjoy it.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Yes, I'm ashamed to say I've seen a majority of that show, and it is terrible.
I've seen the whole thing because I can't even remember where I came across it, but I don't know. After watching it, I was just like, oh, okay. I guess I just watched the real insane side of anime.
Right?
I'm just like, okay. Some people recommended, I don't know why, they've recommended I watch Pupa, but I'm like, all I know about it is that it has a really, stuffed up ending, like really, really stuffed up. So sorry guys, whenever anyone mentions Boku no Pico, a lot of like the YouTubers like Aki Dearest and the Anime Man, sometimes I watch them on the odd occasion. They always mention it. It just always makes me laugh every time they say it. Yeah, it just makes you think about why one of the things in my life that will scar me forever, pretty much, and you regret watching. There are some animes that you regret watching. There are. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So the next question, move on to more happier things. What anime from any time period would you love to see in a movie theater? From Blade. Ooh.
From any time period?
Time period. Ooh.
I think honestly for me, just anything that's, I guess, probably this time period, just because of the relevancy of it. If I'm understanding the question correctly, just because I think of time periods like medieval and stuff like that. So for me, I think time period.
I think that's what he means. Like I'll give an example. Like even in this fall season of anime at the moment, there's an anime called The Last Witch, and I do want to watch it eventually when it's finished airing. But the setting for that is in World War II.
Oh yeah.
But it's got it's got a supernatural twist to it with witches and stuff. And with that time period, World War II, I'm like, I don't know any other animes that are set around that time period, because I've never watched any. That's something that immediately draws me in. It does. And time period for me, I would love something from kind of the 1800s, kind of Victorian times. I like a lot of English kind of time period dramas. I watch way too many of them, and I would love an anime based on that, about of the days when all the gossip was of how you could win over a suitor, basically, and trying to, and obviously the mid-ground between higher class and lower class is what I mean. So I'd love to see an anime based on that, all the fancy dresses, and I haven't seen an anime like that ever.
Yeah.
But, if anyone knows of anything like that, then you definitely can let me know. But yeah, I would love to have a time period of along those lines.
Yeah, I think for me it'd probably be anything futuristic, which probably isn't super exciting, but I guess that's because that's the same way how I am though with like regular movies. I like a lot of movies that are either futuristic or based off of within within the realm of now. I don't know, just because for me I find it a lot more relatable, especially for the futuristic one. It's kind of like it makes me think of the future and if what they're talking about can actually happen, I guess.
Oh, so it's like I worded that wrong because I'm tired. Like, I meant what anime, regardless of the year it came out, would you like to see? Would you like to come out in the theater? Oh, okay. So an anime we've seen, I guess, or not seen, and we would like to see on the big screen, basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, I mean, I guess I could say like a million. I could say quite a few. Oh, now I have to think.
On the big screen.
Big screen. Don't know. I mean, like, I guess, anyone would like to see kind of, I guess, any anime. I guess any anime on the big screen. Well, if I could, I probably would love to see. I probably. Nah, it's gone. I don't know. I guess for me, any anime really, just to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
I mean, even getting to see this Your Name, like, the new Makoto Shinka movie, it's a big deal. Like, for me, not many, kind of those movies, make their way out here to the Aussie land. So, that was a highly anticipated one. I was hoping that would come here. Now that it is, that's been on. I know, definitely A Silent Voice, definitely. The other one that's got a movie, the movie adaptation, definitely that are being done by Kyoto Animation. So I'm hoping that comes here as well. Oh, Blade's like, I like to see Gundam Wing the movie. Oh,
I think. Oh man,
that's a good one.
As a movie.
Endless Waltz. Since I've seen Gundam Wing, I really want to get that. I really want to get that this Christmas. Definitely.
I'm trying to think what I would want to see as a movie.
Shay is still thinking.
I know. Surprising, right? Generally, I know off the top of my head.
What is it?
That's kind of like, I don't know. I kind of want to say Nana would be awesome to see in theaters. Like, if they can make it like a feature length.
It'd be great. I know. It'd be great if they created a Nana movie.
Yeah. Like, I feel like and we get
a different ending where Nobu ends up with Nana. That would be great.
That wouldn't happen.
I know.
People would be so upset if that was like the actual ending, since like the ending is so different.
Oh, someone said you're like in April. Oh, I haven't seen that anime yet. I really do want to. Like, it looks, all the things that's ever been said about it looks beautiful. That would be really good.
Would be a good one. I'd say put that in theaters.
Oh, Shay. Lynn's just mentioned something quite potential. She said, you didn't see the Japanese live action of Nana? I didn't even know there was a live action.
Yeah, I knew there was a live action, but I never saw it. But I did hear of there being a live action. Don't know how good it is.
Oh, you're scared. You're scared. You're scared to watch it and be like, no, this was not what I envisioned. This is not what I envisioned.
I think that's for like any live action, but I mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it because, like I said before, some live actions can be done very well, just depending on what the topic is.
Well, we can move on to we can move on to another question if you want.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
If you think of an answer, that's right. You can let me know. Let everybody know. But I think quite a few people. Yeah, I think quite a few people are excited about A Silent Voice. Have you? I'm sure you've heard of A Silent Voice. I'm sure you have, Shay.
Mm-mm.
No. Oh, well, it's about it. I think his popularity kind of exploded. I read the manga, and Kyoto Animation is doing movie adaptation for it. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be coming out before the end of this year, but it's about bullying. It's about this deaf girl that gets bullied by this boy. He likes not to have a lot of boredom in his life. He hates to be bored, and then girl ends up being transferred. She ends up being transferred out of the school, and then the two meet later on in life, and obviously he develops a new perspective and looks back on, obviously how he treated her, and it's a really, really beautiful story. I loved the manga. There's a one shot, and then there's the proper manga, which is 7 volumes. You can easily read it online. I read it online. But it's a really beautiful manga. I mean, if you type it in Google, it'll come up with like the new visual pictures that are for the movie adaptation. But it just looks insanely. Oh, I'm so glad Kyoto Animation are doing it. So glad. It just looks beautiful. I definitely think. I'm surprised. I thought you would have. I don't know. I thought you would have heard about it, but yeah, it's really, really good.
No, I think it's because I think I've been out of the loop.
That's okay. I know how that feels. I'm always saying on Twitter how out of the loop I am, but there's nothing wrong with being out of the loop. But
I know.
But yeah, it's definitely something you should check out. It's something that everyone's ended up enjoying. A lot of the people like here in the chat, I know some of them have read the manga and stuff, and they've really enjoyed it as well. But yeah, I don't know. Its popularity for it just random. The hype for it just came out of nowhere. It was mid-year this year. It was, and that's when I kind of got drawn in. And yeah, so I've been waiting for the movie for so long now. So
I know. I think Kuroko's basketball would be awesome too.
What would be awesome?
Kuroko's basketball.
Oh yes, I haven't seen the basketball one yet, but yes, yeah. So I have to admit, some of the guys in Kuroko Basket do look good looking. Some of them do, especially the guy with the black and the red hair. I think he's
Kagami.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, Kagami. It was on the tip of my tongue. His name. I have heard of it before. I'm very new to the sports genre. I've only watched like one sports. No, technically I'm on my second sports anime at the moment, but I'm very new to it, so I'll eventually will get it. I really would like to, at least start watching the Kuroko basketball before the end of this year. Would be good. So I really do want to watch that. But I don't know if you've noticed on like Twitter and stuff, obviously, about one particular show that's kind of Yuri on Ice. Have you seen?
I heard about it, but I haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, well, it's about ice skating, which I was glad about. But when I saw that it was all about guys, I'm like, oh, God, I don't know where this is going to go. And it's gone there. It's like teasing you like yaoi bits. I haven't seen it. I know enough to know of what the show is going to do and what direction it's going to go in. It just teases fans of all these little yaoi bits, like you were mentioning, like yaoi and Card Captor Sakura. I'm not going to get over that, I don't think. but yeah, I believe there is, yes, Yuri on Ice is the most talked about of the fall season. Oh my God. And, everyone's like, why haven't you watched it yet? I'm like, I don't know. I'll get around to it, but I don't want to, stop all the other shows that I'm watching. But if you guys want to know, there is already an ice skating show. There already is an ice skating anime that was made a few years ago. It's called Kaleidoscope, Ice Kaleidoscope, I think. I had a blogger friend mention it to me, and it's a very different story, but the hype is dangerous. Yes, the hype is dangerous for Yuri on Ice. I think it's not going to go away for a while. Anyway. Okay, I think there was another question lying around here somewhere. You guys keep typing too many comments. Then I miss things. Oh, that's right. Someone asked our favorite. Oh, this will be a good topic for you, Shay. It's our favorite Marvel movies.
Favorite Marvel movies?
I
really like X-Men. The X-Men series is probably still one of my favorites. I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man? Which
version? I
like
the first one. The first one was good. One. I also really liked Deadpool.
Oh, he doesn't love Deadpool. Oh, my partner's like rewatched that movie like over 15 times on the dot.
Deadpool is funny.
Yeah,
I love Deadpool.
He's like waiting for like my partner's like waiting for like the second Deadpool to come out, and I'm just like, don't worry, it's not going to happen. I'm like, oh my god, didn't you see the end credits for the Marvel? You know, when we're sitting there waiting for the end credits, there's going to be a second one. How can there not be? Course. So I recently saw Doctor Strange. When did I see that? I saw that last week. I mean, it's not going to be my favorite Marvel movie. I still enjoyed it. I would so agree that nobody else could play it except Benedict Cumberbatch. He was amazing.
For Doctor Strange, yes.
Amazing. I don't know. There was. I mean, I like the movie, but it's not going to be like a favorite. It's not. For me, favorites. One for me is Thor. I love Thor is my number one favorite. I just love it. I recently got into reading some of the comics of that. Keep visiting a certain comic book store way too many times. And though I never used to grow up with comic books, and yet here I am finally getting into the comic side of things. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I've enjoyed nearly every Marvel movie that I've watched. Pretty much, nothing has ever really like disappointed me really, or that I've not ended up liking. It's the same thing. Like, you know, I liked Doctor Strange. I did. You know, there were a couple of things I didn't like about it, but like I don't know. I felt like with the. I haven't watched your review on it yet, Shay. Haven't your thoughts on it? But which, by the way, guys, you should go totally watch her review on Doctor Strange. I know it's just been posted. I know it has.
Yep.
Yeah, but the only couple of things I had with the movie, I know I thought like I think the whole plot idea was a bit like cliche for me, like towards the end. But I loved like all the like graphics and everything. I just felt my eyes felt like they were going to turn into puzzles by the end of it. All the scenes that are flipping from one like all these one world's going upside down, and I felt like I was looking through one of those kaleidoscope things that makes your eyes go funny.
Yeah, one point made me dizzy.
I felt like, yeah, it was busy. That was a great word to describe it. It was like busy shots everywhere.
Yeah, it was kind of like made me dizzy too, because in my review I talked about it a little bit more, that I watched it in 3D.
Oh,
and
I don't like
3D. I don't like watching 3D movies, mostly because they usually always make my head hurt, or they make my eyes hurt by wearing the glasses, because I naturally wear glasses, but I don't wear them all the time. I mostly wear them when I drive, or if I have a headache and my eyes are stressed and I need to wear them. But when I go to the movies, I generally don't watch 3D movies for that reason. So I was watching it and I was like, I can't do this. So halfway through the movie, I actually took off my 3D glasses. So I'm watching it while it's blurry, which didn't make it better. So I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. It was still a really good movie. I talk about it more in my review, but the message behind the entire movie, or at least definitely the beginning of the movie, was definitely
Yeah,
my
I
favorite
was.
part and what resonated with me
Yeah,
the most.
we were waiting for the ending credits, and my partner's like, "Where are you going?" And I said, I was going to go to the toilet. He's like, wait for the end bit. He's one of these people that's just set on. He has to wait for the end Marvel clip.
Yeah,
I didn't even know until I met my partner that there was even an ending clip for Marvel. I had no idea.
yeah, they do it a lot for a lot of Marvel movies and just a lot of movies in general.
He's like, wait for it, and he's like, look at all these people going. How dare they? I'm just like. I said some of them probably don't even realize it's actually an ending clip. But
yeah,
I was surprised that I was like, oh my God, yes, Doctor Strange is going to be in the next Thor movie. Oh, that makes me so happy. So happy. Right. Yes, I know they've been filming here in Australia for the third Thor movie for ages now. It's not going to be long now. Not going to be long now. So... And some people asked about the new Logan movie. I think that's the last Wolverine movie.
that is the last one that's going to be out. It looks good. I mean, so it's kind of cool to see Logan old, like old man Logan.
I know. I don't know.
Like,
It's gonna. I think I'm not gonna cry, but I think I will feel so sad after it. No more.
I mean,
more Wolverine.
There probably will always be more Wolverine. I mean, let's be honest. They're probably going to come out with another Wolverine movie, but it just won't be Hugh Jackman playing him.
I know, and then we're going to have the blow-up storm of, no, it has to be Hugh Jackman.
Well, I mean,
Well,
true. Like there was a storm that's another thing we're going to have to, go forward with, but it's also the same way when you look at all the Batman and Superman movies. There have been several different Batmans and several different Supermans.
I know it's
in the movies, and the same for Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I remember Spider-Man was, before the one I remember, before we had the other guy that I now realized I forgot his name. The first one was I forgot his name too. Look at my brain; it doesn't work anymore.
It's okay.
The first one that came out, we then had two Spider-Mans. So. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with another Wolverine movie or X-Men movie and just had somebody else playing Logan, playing Wolverine.
It was only recently I watched. I had the chance to watch the X-Men Apocalypse. I really wanted to see that one in their younger days, like young days. And it was really good. I was mostly excited to see young Storm with her white mohawk. Oh,
me too.
My expectation wasn't let down at all. I'm just like, oh, I love it.
I'm also excited to see the Black Panther movie because I heard they're coming out with more of that too.
Yes,
I'm excited.
Black Panther. That's to do with Captain America as well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. I think.
Yeah, I think because he was brought into the Captain America Civil War film briefly, so people were very excited to see.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And, also, Storm's husband or ex-husband, however you want to put it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Storm and Black Panther get married in the Marvel universe, but that's also her ex-husband.
Just do a movie with Storm and Black Panther, and I'll be happy. Just like bring Halle Berry back. I loved her as Storm. She was great.
She was a really good Storm.
I wouldn't have expected anyone else to do her. I was like, no,
me neither.
No one else. I'll tell you one. Yeah, I'll tell you one trailer that came out. A new trailer that came out actually, I think over the weekend as well, which was for the new Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new Wonder Woman.
Oh my god, I'm so hyped.
I'm excited for it.
So freaking good! Like
it looks good. But DC has a very bad rep with a lot of their movies. Like, not all their movies are very good. Like, for example, for those of you guys who have seen Batman vs. Superman, I have seen the beginning of it, and then I promptly fell asleep. Because Batman vs. Superman was very, very slow, and so I knocked out I woke up. It was the end of the movie.
Did anyone else
I
fall
was
asleep
like,
during
oh my
that movie?
God. I watched it at home too, so I was just like, I was watching it at home because my dad has it on DVD.
I
So I
watched
watched
it.
it,
I
but
watched it
I
in
had
the
never seen it.
cinema.
I had never seen it, so I was just like, oh, I always want to see Batman vs Superman, and I'm watching it, and then me and my dad both fell asleep, and we were like, that
Oh my
movie
God.
was slow. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
yeah. I have to admit, like the beginning was like really weird. There was like these odd slow bits, and after halfway through, it started getting good.
Right.
It did,
But
and
like I told my
it
dad,
was
I
a
said,
slow movie.
yeah. But like I told my dad, I was like, you know what? I said, I could honestly see them redoing Batman versus Superman to make it better.
No,
Very
they
similar to
can't
when
redo it now.
well, not now, but I mean like later
No,
on.
not now.
Not now, but I mean like later on, I could see them basically coming out with another Batman versus Superman to make up for this one, since a lot of people didn't like it. And I feel like because it's the same thing that they did when the Incredible Hulk came out, the very, very first Incredible Hulk that came out like 2000 and was it 4 or 5 or whenever the first one came out, and everyone was like, it was terrible. They said it was slow. People were like, it was not. They said the Hulk doesn't actually show up till like almost towards the end, and then later on they came out with another Hulk movie, and everyone loved it. And I was just like, I guess them doing that with Batman vs Superman because many people did not like it. They were like, it was slow.
This is obviously Dawn of Justice you're talking about. Just so we're on the same page.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm talking about the Dawn of Justice, the one where they finally when they end up introducing Wonder Woman in the film. When you realize when Wonder Woman comes about, that one. But I am so I'm excited to see Wonder Woman, but then I'm also kind of apprehensive because I want to know if it's going to be a slow film, or are they going to be like hitting all the good points of Wonder Woman and giving it some justice,
I mean, maybe it'll be DC's glorifying Remedy. You never know.
Yeah, I feel like their glorifying Remedy though is going to be the Justice League, because everyone's so excited for the Justice League movie, and I'm excited for that too. That I feel like the Justice League is going to be like their glorifying film. I feel like that's going to be, but it could also be a huge letdown. I mean, it could be that's their way of competing with the Avengers. So Justice League comes out, and it could also be a big letdown, and then we could also be like, okay,
Mark has said the fight of the century that lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
When they actually fight, and
with the 2 hour with an hour and a half lead up.
Oh God!
I like watched that movie and I'm going, all right, I see Ben Affleck, I see Batman, I see Superman, and then I fell asleep.
The bit they clash.
And I fell asleep, and I wake up and I'm like, I don't know what happened. I said, and I think when I woke up, they still weren't actually fighting. I was like, okay, so what happened? I'm confused.
Oh, it was stretched out for me, obviously. I mean, I still enjoyed parts of the movie, but it was stretched out for this. Everyone's waiting for the bit.
Yeah.
Clash. But, oh, God.
But I'm granted, I also did the same thing, though, when I watched Suicide Squad. Now, I like the Suicide Squad movie. The plot wasn't great, I will say that. But I loved Harley Quinn.
No, it wasn't amazing.
I loved Harley Quinn. I loved Will Smith's character. Those are my 2 favorite characters in that entire movie. I wish the Joker had more time. Granted, the Joker probably needs his own freaking movie. But when I
didn't realize we'd moved on to Suicide Squad. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Still on.
It's okay.
No worries. Right.
But it's for that movie, though, when I went and saw it in theaters, the first time, because I've seen Suicide Squad twice in theaters when it came out. The first time I saw it twice. Well, the first time I fell asleep halfway through it. And I think it wasn't even because of the movie. I think it was because of the fact I went to a really late showing, 10 or 11 o'clock. So my mind was like, oh, I'm going to stay up. But my body was like, no, we're going to fall asleep. And then we're going to wake up towards the end, near the big fight. So when I went and saw it a second time, I watched the parts I had missed, which is basically most of them talking about their backstories. Mostly this was Diablo talking about his backstory. And I was like, all right, I see what I missed. I was like, all right, I get it. Perfect.
Well, let's be honest, like the ending fight wasn't exactly amazing.
No.
I wasn't exactly amazed. It was very average, this Suicide Squad movie. Like, look, I agree with you. I loved Harley Quinn. I loved most of the characters who played. I liked the witch character. She was good.
She was the only one that had powers besides Diablo.
Yeah.
And I think what draws me into superhero movies is when they have powers. That superhuman strength, that superhuman something, which is probably why I gravitate more towards the Marvel movies, because it is a lot of powers.
She had the lost Egyptian feel I was getting from her.
Yeah, but I can't lie.
Long ancient past and
right. But it was also kind of creepy though when they tell how she got her powers when she went down to that dark cave by herself. and came upon the witch, and then somehow
the witch is such a catchy name.
Right, but my whole thing was she came across the witch, and the witch looked so creepy, sitting in the dark cave, and my whole thought was, I would have ran, not gone towards it.
Yeah, no, that bit did send chills down the spine.
Understand this concept. Like, does everyone forget in scary movies that when something scary happens, you do not, I repeat, do not go check out what's going on. You run away.
Only in a movie they check it out, of course.
Right, and then they die. Or they live. And the smart one that runs away is the one that dies. And then you're confused about this concept. Or they're in a house and they run upstairs. And you're like, so you ran. Someone came in through your window downstairs, and there's a perfectly nice front door for you to run out of, and you run upstairs to get trapped. I'm confused on this concept. Or you run outside and there's a perfectly running vehicle, and you run down the street the opposite direction of where you should be going. I'm confused with this concept.
This is kind of like an anime. There's those scenes where you think you're like, this is not like to do with death or anything, but there is scenes in anime where you get confused and think, why would you do that? Like especially like in romance movies, like all the misunderstandings that happen. I'm like, why would you believe them? Just kind of situations like that. And by the way, Jiro the Hero says, I'm seeing a trend with Shay in movies. Shay's rating: stay awake, good movie; goes to sleep, bad movie.
Not always. Not always.
Not always.
Now, I'll be honest, for Doctor Strange, I say this in my review in my Doctor Strange review, that I did fall asleep halfway through Doctor Strange. But I did like Doctor Strange. I did like it.
Oh dear.
Granted, I did like it. But I did like the Suicide Squad, even though I fell asleep halfway through the first time I saw it. When I saw it completely the second time and did my review, I did like it.
Yeah, maybe those days you've been working as well. Maybe that added on to the exhaustion. Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's just going to the movies late. I think that's my problem. Because I'll go at like 10:30, the movie will start, which I'm fine with. But
here we can't even see a movie that late, 10 o'clock. Like the cutoff line to see a movie here is like 9:30, 8:30 here, generally. And I was going to say, with the Wonder Woman movie as well, nobody had ever heard of actually the actress that was picked to play her. There was there was high anticipation for who they were going to cast as it. And the only reason I remembered her was from the Fast and Furious movies, those car racing movies, that I had to watch through every single one because of my partner. Well, I don't mind racing car movies. I don't mind action movies, but Gal. Oh my god, I can't even say her name right. Gal Gadot. No one had even ever heard of her. No one had, and I just remember she was just one of the girlfriends of the racers. She was a bigger character as someone who's seen all the Fast and Furious movies. I love them. Oh yes, I know you would have.
I know. I'm a total weird like hybrid / love all the movies that appear to appeal to guys for some reason. But
nah, you probably get along with my partner then, because he's like
I love the Fast and the Furious movies. But she showed up in the fourth movie. She wasn't in the fourth movie who did play kind of like a girlfriend of one of the racers, but she wasn't. She was more so like with the bad guy, but she wasn't like his girlfriend. She like worked for him more so. And then she showed back up.
This has been a long time since I've seen it.
And she shows back up in the fifth movie, and she's like a part of their actual team of people, as well as in the sixth movie. In the sixth movie, she does have a boyfriend with one of the characters. One of the characters is her boyfriend, but generally it's like I don't know. But she is like a super badass chick in the movies. She really is. So when they casted her as it, I was once also surprised like many others. But then once I saw her like in the costume, I was like, I can see it. I was like, all right, I'm happy.
I could see it, and I think she's gonna deliver. You know, I admit I have high anticipation for this movie in particular. I do. I'm even reading a book right now, I borrowed from the library, on the history of Wonder Woman because I'm so interested now. So I'm like reading all the history of how it came about and stuff. So that probably doesn't help my expectation as well.
Yeah, this is true.
So, well, if anyone ever wants to have a good old Marvel conversation or movies, Shay is your girl.
Sometimes. There's still a couple Marvel movies that I still have yet to actually see, just because I've missed them.
Oh, which one of those?
I missed Civil War. I haven't seen that one.
You'll enjoy that.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't seen.
Nah, it was good, and my dad really enjoyed it. My dad's always ends up like, I made him watch Deadpool, and he generally if my dad's enjoying the movie, he's like cacking, he's laughing his ass off basically. And I'm glad it was. He said it was all right, but I could tell that he still quite enjoyed it. I did, because I could hear him laughing. So, I gotta stretch. Seems too long. Wow, it's amazing on a podcast what direction of talking you go on. Or I should say on topics. Well, pardon me. I didn't mean to give a slight burp then. Whoops.
Oh, you're okay.
What's the point? Yeah. I don't see the point in like editing out stuff in a podcast, because I feel like you miss out on good stuff. I can never edit anything out of our podcast. I'm like, no, it's too much work as well. Too much work. But we have another question. If you guys have any, you guys stay on topic until we didn't. Well, it doesn't matter. Well, we decided. Well, you know, me and Shay decided. You know, to a certain point, we would, you know, have a segment where, you know, people could just ask questions and stuff. So, I think that's a fair idea, isn't it, Shay? Are you still there, Shay?
I am still here. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. I feel like the last few times we've had a podcast, you've like kind of nearly like disappeared.
I know. I don't know what happens. Sometimes like Google Hangouts will like just hang up on people.
I don't know. I think it's had enough of us. Jira the Hero asks, anyone going to watch Stephen King's Dark Tower, the movie, whenever it comes out? I'll be honest. I haven't even heard about that movie, but I will look it up like right now. Dark Tower. Stop being so slow, computer.
Oh no.
Dark Tower, the movie. I feel like I have heard of it from someone somewhere. But I will look it up anyway. Oh, wait. Oh, yes. There was actually an advertisement for this movie. There was like a billboard for it when I went to see Doctor Strange. That the image for it was very like strike kind of like in your face, because it's very, very striking, kind of like in your face. It is. I'm like, this looks like it's got death written all over it, but it looks really, it did look like really interesting. It did. And it was too like army. I like army movies, so yeah, I probably might go watch it. I might have to convince my partner though. I have to convince him. Otherwise, I'll just go alone. You know, like I'm gonna go watch A Silent Voice alone. So, I mean, I'm even saying Silent Voice. I mean Your Name. Well, if you guys, we'll probably might answer like one more question, and then I'm probably going to wrap up this podcast for now. I know we've been doing it for a while. I don't usually pay attention, but nearly 2 hours. But yeah, if anyone's got one question we'll answer. But if not, then I will wrap up this podcast. I will. And yeah, you guys can, let us know if you like the idea of, when we get to the end of talking about a particular anime topic, we move on then to like answering questions and just talking about random crap. So you can let us know. I feel like that makes us different from other podcasts. I feel it's good to be different. So, but but I don't see that there's like any other. I don't see that there's any other questions anyone's going to answer. So I think I'm going to wrap up for now. I just want to say thank you again to everyone that comes to our podcast. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this discussion on creepy anime and random crap. And learning that Shay, in Shay's opinion, or Jiro says, a bad movie, Shay likes to fall asleep in some movies. Not saying she would think that they're bad movies. It just seems she likes to fall asleep a lot. Well, I fell asleep in movies as well.
Being tired.
Yes, it's okay. It's what happens when you work all day and you go see a movie late, is what happens. Lynn's like, I finished my homework from now. You finished it. Oh, that's good. I thought we would have distracted you, in honesty. I thought. Yes, okay. I'll give a shout out to Gothrika. I know he only has been able to make it to one of our podcasts. So another shout out to you. And yes, we don't know what our next podcast topic will be. Again, we just announce it on our Twitter. We do. And I don't know, obviously like for next month, Christmas is coming up. So we're going to do a Christmas theme one, aren't we, Shay? Before Christmas one, definitely. Yeah, so it's going to be fun times ahead, nearly end of year. Oh, God, it's like, I was only realizing the other day, it's November, and yes, much excited things. But, again, you guys can always, tweet us or whatever and leave us a comment saying of any topics you would like us to talk about. And yes, we will announce our next topic choice on Twitter. I'll probably do it this week, so you guys can have something to look forward to. And yeah, hopefully me and Shay will have another podcast episode this month. We try and do 2 a month, or when we can, as usual. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. And this is the Senshi Annie Girls, and we are out. See you later.